What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. And we got tons of football. We got racism. We got the British media. Man, get it together. We got the Euros review. We got friendlies leading up to the Euros. England, come on, man. You couldn't beat Iceland. Iceland? Iceland, fam? They they have one good day a year where it's 60 degrees and you couldn't beat them. We'll get into that. America got thrashed in a friendly by Colombia. Colombia letting them know we ain't friends, fam. Uh, Canada got taken apart by the Netherlands. So we'll get into that. And we got the Copa Cup America coming up, and we got the Euros coming up next weekend. And we got my mans in them, Lee Hudson, stand-up comic, Southampton fan, just came back from a tour of comedy in Europe. I said tour of comedy, but comedy tour in Europe. How
Yeah.
you, fam? I just got back, made
Yep.
some
Flew in
tea
this.
on the
Yep.
pod.
That's it. I got my tea because I'm back in the UK. But no, I've been in Barcelona for the weekend. I was there since Thursday, doing
Show off.
shows. It was
How
it
was
was good
that?
fun. It was nice. The weather was nice.
Mm,
I played some basketball out there as well. Went for my
shit.
hotel had a pool. Did some swimming. It
Yeah.
was yeah, it was a nice relaxing time. But still keeping an eye on the football
Mm-hmm.
um, as well. So yeah, it's nice to get away and do comedy at the same time. It's like a vacation and comedy combined.
Oh, that's dope. And when you go to Spain, like, how are those venues that you play?
They're pretty cool. There's a really nice venue in Barcelona called the Comedy Clubhouse.
Mm,
Um, it's um, it's a really cool venue. It's like owned and ran by comics.
okay.
There's shows every night of the week there. They have like showcase shows. They have people doing like their solo hour shows, which is what I did as well. And I did some of the showcases too. They got a
Mm.
roast battle Barcelona out there,
What?
um, which is
That'll
which
be
is good
funny to
fun.
hear them spit those jokes. Are they speaking in Spanish or English?
Oh no, it's in English, and most of the
Mm,
comics in Barcelona are from other places. There's
mm-hmm,
lots of like English, American, Eastern European.
mm-hmm,
Um, there's some local comics as well, which was cool. There's like actual Catalan comics,
mm-hmm.
which is nice. So yeah, it was a nice mix. It was good fun meeting some new comics. There's some people I knew out there, which is why I went out there. So I got to hang out with them for a bit as well. So yeah, it was a good fun. It's a nice scene.
That's pretty cool. I need to dabble out there. I hit up Alex last minute, so he's gonna join us. I should
Nice.
have.
We need some of that city hate in the comments again.
He's taking his time to join. I want he would not have anybody in the background. Um, I'm gonna have to ask him to remove them. What up?
Hey, what
Sorry
up?
to hit
How
you
you guys
so
doing?
last minute, but
No
thank you.
problem.
I should have told you in advance. We're gonna need some Copa info.
Awesome coping informers.
Yeah. We need some, Lee was just speaking of, Latin America. Lee just came from Spain and just did some shows in Barcelona. So he was just telling us about that.
Oh, you were in Barcelona doing shows?
Yeah, I was there from Thursday until this morning, and then I flew back today. So yeah,
How was
it
it?
was good fun. Yeah, it was good fun. There's really like international audiences because Barcelona's got a lot of people from a lot of different parts of the world living there. So yeah, really good fun.
Nice.
How are the comics there? Like, what's their level?
They're getting better. There's some really funny people there because I went
Oh,
out there
okay.
last year and I saw a couple of people and I was like okay, and then this year there was some really funny people I was on shows with, which was great. And like I say, there's a lot of people from a lot of different places there,
Mm-hmm.
and the scene's like it's still new-ish, so it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's developing. So I could see like from when I went last year to this year that people had got funnier. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, so they've been working on it. That's cool.
Mm.
Yeah, I've never done comedy in Spain. Have you ever done comedy in Spain, Alex?
Haven't.
No. What about Mexico?
That's on the projects for next year. Start doing I'm actually gonna start doing putting shows in Spanish, and I do
That's what I
wanna
was going
kind
to
of
ask
like,
you next. Have you ever done a
yeah,
show in Spanish?
I done shows in Spanish, just two. They were not the best, you know. Yeah,
I'd be
I,
terrified. I'd be
I
terrified.
performed in front of 5 people, and I wasn't even. I was hosting, so it was okay. But the like the headliner, he just performing in front of 4 people and in Spanish. So it said it was just weird. Yeah,
It's funny. When you're telling this story, you remind me of Rodney Dangerfield. There's 5 people, you know.
yeah.
But I'd be terrified. Like if you tell me to do a TV set and I have curses in my set and you want me to clean that set up, that's like speaking another language to me. So I can just imagine like doing your whole thing, even if you speak that language, just it changes everything.
Yeah, I
Just
know.
like
And the material has to be a little bit different, just because from one culture to another culture,
mhm,
there's, I mean, humor is just different. It's just
yeah,
I mean, I know everything about the Mexican culture. We're a little bit our humor is a little bit different. We can take a roast. You can roast someone. So
right.
there's like some levels of what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. There's a point that you
There's a
cross the line.
video. So that video, right? Was that in a comedy club in Mexico? This week there was a video that went around where a guy got up out the audience and slapped this, and the show was in Spanish, and this guy got up and he slapped this other guy because I don't know if the guy said something, was doing some crowd work and kind of insulted him. Did you see that?
No, haven't seen that.
No, I thought you'd already seen it. All right, we'll look at it after.
No, and I'm also like it's just not part of my bit, but I think like I'll be more scared of doing like shows in Spanish because I'm a little guy, I'm not the biggest, and normally when I'm doing stand up, I got big
Mhm.
guys kind of got my back, like I'm like, all right, if you're gonna do something, there's like a big security guy. Mexican
Mhm.
restaurants, security guys are just like little guys that are also like there's guys that are gonna be like, nah, bro, that's you, man, that's what you get.
Man, what are you planning on saying to this audience in a restaurant that is going to get you approached like that?
It's
What do
just
you got planned, fam?
it's just you never know, like I think like I've been in shows and like I make like Spanish shows where like the audience members they just get rowdy all of a sudden, like because
Mhm.
they're not used to stand up comedy, like the way we are. So
Right.
everybody has an opinion and they're just jumping in your set and you gotta be like, hey, relax, chill out, and
Right.
then they get offended because you're telling them to be quiet, but you're like, lady, like you gotta relax, like
Lady, you
this
got
is
to
not how it works.
relax.
This is not how it works.
That statement has never made a woman relax in the history
Yeah.
of it being
I
said to women ever.
Hey,
well, I'm
whatever you
telling that
do,
that is true. That is gonna make you
what
more upset
yeah,
about it.
whatever you do, don't tell a lady to relax. Tell them to, yeah, get hype.
Maybe you when in after your San Diego show, we'll go to Spanish show like in Tijuana.
Nah, I gotta bounce the next day. But yeah, you're talking about when I do La Jolla.
Yeah, aren't you
I'm
doing like
actually
4 days?
yeah, but that's in August. But I'm also doing a Don't Tell show this weekend, like Friday in San Diego. It's for a Don't Tell taping, so I'm doing that. So I,
Nice.
Nice.
I was like, did you know about? I was just trying to, yeah. But anyway, let's get into this football. First, there's been so England played Iceland, lost, you know, and Lee, won't you describe kind of what happened since since you might have like Lloyd sent me the headlines, but it's like, but go ahead, describe what happened in the English media after England lost to Iceland 1-0 in a
Um,
friendly.
yeah. So it was obviously the game was what it was. There was nothing really to shout about in the game. England had a lot of the ball, didn't really do enough to break them down and be clinical. But it's a last game before a tournament. Players aren't necessarily going 100% trying to avoid injury. No Bellingham as well. But then the media, one, they love to build an England team up and then tear them down, which they're doing after one friendly before the tournament. But then also there was the more, ugly side of it, where all of a sudden all the back pages of the newspapers and front pages of the websites were using mainly Saka as like the image of failure, which causes some questions to be asked about the the deeper meaning behind the choice of him as the picture, because he played 24 minutes or 25 minutes of that game, which and especially with all the team selection stuff that was going on, squad selection stuff last week, I'd have expected maybe Southgate to be the main like picture
right.
on those sports pages, not all of them to have Saka on there, which I found a very strange choice. And we all saw some stuff that reared its head after the Euros when Saka and Rashford missed the penalties. And just stuff that's been going on in the media for a while. Like every time, there's a black player who buys his mum a house or he buys a new car, they treat it very differently to when a white player does the same thing. Especially stuff like the Daily Mail and the Sun, these papers. It's a bit sort of sad to see that that's still happening. And just the fact that it was like, if one paper or one website had used a picture of Saka, you'd be like, okay, but then there was a whole bunch, to the point where it's like, okay, this isn't right. And I'm glad that there are more high profile people, like Ian Wright called it out quite publicly. He was one of the first to do it, and there's a lot of people talking about it, and I think it's good that it's being talked about, because I think it shouldn't go sort of unspoken about.
Yeah, because this is what I'll say about it. Like, because everybody already said what they said about it, and it's got called out. But a lot of people said the internet is bad, and I hate when people make blanket statements like that, because the internet has made people who wouldn't be in the media system create their own version of media, and some of those versions of media or platforms have got big fan bases. So like the traditional media is not the only voice that can set the tone for how you should feel about a race, a team, or a set of people. And so I just want to credit some of these platforms for clapping back at traditional media. You know what I'm saying? So there's this one guy named Aaron Sikaya, and he sounds British, but he used to live in Belgium. And I just stumbled upon his one. So shout out to him. United View, that guy, he's pretty always fair United stand. And Sam, what is Sam? There's another, I listen to these things all the time, but I forget. But whoever else was like, because I know Sam has like 400,000 followers, you know what I mean? And they're like, protect, and what's his name? What's the guy from the United Stand?
Andy, is it? Oh,
what's his name? Shit.
I can't remember.
Yeah, that's terrible. It's terrible too. What's his name? But like, and these guys that run these platforms. They're black, they're white, they're just whatever, but they're standing up. Like you recognize it. So just shout out to everybody, and thank God that we have these other platforms and these other people who like, you're not going to do that to my player. Like there's Arsenal fans. They're like, you ain't going to shit on our player and they blame him for what happened before he even came into a game and make him the scapegoat and the face of this 1-0 loss to Iceland and all the other. But like there was one platform, I never even seen it before, but he was going out of his way to prove why the goal was Mainu's fault. And then he did the progression of where Mainu was from the moment like Iceland got the ball, and it just didn't make sense. But he was like, and if you know anything about football, he's too high, and then this, and he's like forgetting that Kyle Walker did not come back. Was that Kyle Walker playing that right back that day, or whoever was? He did not get back. You know, Stones is a very professional footballer, did not stop or block that. And
Mm.
And if you look at Ramsdale face, he clearly knows that you should not let a goal go in on the near post. I'm not calling these people out. This just happened in a game. I'm not going to take this get lost to Iceland serious. I feel like this loss might actually let the team know. This might be a jolt that lets the team, all right, we got it. This it's not it's serious out here. This loss might be the best thing to happen to England, I hope. So yeah.
Yeah, I think in the wider, like I say, in the wider scope of things, it's the last friendly before a game or before a tournament. I don't think you can read too much into it. It's more about just the players getting more time on the pitch with each other. The result is, I'd like it if we'd have scored a bunch of goals and blew this team away. And it's disappointing, the performance, but I don't think it's like people are losing their minds over it. And I'm like, no, it's just like if we, if we play terribly and lose 3-0 to Serbia in the first game, then let's maybe ring some, the alarm bells kind of thing. But it's the last friendly. I didn't even watch it live. I was in Barcelona. I was chilling. I was like, I was like, I just watched the highlights afterwards, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's a friendly.
They wouldn't even show
People,
us the game out here.
yeah,
They had it on something like I thought I had all the football like
yeah.
apps and everything. They had it. It's on this one TUND or something like that. Just the one they I just don't have it. United People's TV. Yeah, United People's TV, United Stand, like all those places like defended them. Speaking of racism, this is where you come in, Alex. You're Mexican.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was gonna say like.
I was
Okay,
just
go
gonna.
ahead.
I was just confirming that because I'm like watching Mexico versus Brazil, right? And for the first time in my life, and you can correct me in this, I see a black right winger playing for Mexico. Where y'all hiding your black people at? And how
Yankees.
come there haven't been more in your national team?
He's
Like, what's
actually
going on with
he's not
with with,
he's not
with
Mexican
Mexico
born.
and color? Say again.
He's not Mexican born. He's Colombian.
Oh, okay.
He was born in Colombia and he plays for America. By the way, you guys didn't congratulate me, but America are the current champions, back-to-back champions, man.
All
So
right. Congratulations. We'll
you know
give you
what?
something.
I
You won
sacrificed the
something.
FA Cup over America winning back-to-back Mexican League trophies.
I just all I will congratulate America for is having one of the best kits of all time. Just that design, the yellow, the blue, the red. I
Oh,
love it. It's
thank you.
it's iconic. I love every time they
This
bring
is
a new
really
one
is
out.
one of my favorites, man. He's right. That is one of the best. That is one of the. So no, he's not. He's Colombian, and there was a lot of. There's always been a lot of controversy about basically non-Mexican born players playing for Mexico. Uh, I don't understand it. I think like if they're making the team better, they should play for the team. I do, but I do feel like in some cases those players know that it's probably easier for them to get into the Mexican team than get into the Brazilian team or Colombian team or Argentinian team. So they take like the shortcut, I guess, and it's like, okay, I'll naturalize Mexico for Mexico and I'll play in the World Cup. And that's kind of what he did. He's a good player, one of the best wingers in the Mexican league. He's now playing for Mexico, and as soon as he started playing for Mexico, he's moving to Qatar. He's gonna be playing with Ronaldo, I think, or Benzema. He's playing with one of them. So he
He's
literally
leaving
said
already.
he's leaving
He's
already.
about to
So
bounce.
he's about to bounce, and that's what it's a lot of people were upset about it because he's just kind of he said, "I love Mexico. I want to play. I want to play in the World Cup for Mexico, this country." I think he's just kind of kid, like his kid was born in Mexico, so he's saying that he loves the country, and it might be true, but he just immediately left Qatar, you know.
Hilarious. Did they sell him to Qatar? Did the
Yeah,
team?
He plays for America and Qatar for 15 million, I think 15 or 14 million. So which it's like one of the biggest transfers of the market for the Mexican league.
So at least he won the league before he bounced.
No, he won the league back to back. He's actually this guy's pretty good. He's won back to back trophies with I think it was Tigres, Atlas, and America. So in like
Oh,
5
snap.
years of Mexican league, he's won 10 leagues, which is like
How old is he?
It's might be like probably 27, 28. Let me pull it up.
And the Mexican league, they do the league twice a year.
Twice a year, yeah.
That is so
Yeah,
bananas. How many
Is
games is
it
that?
is it the
he's
same as
27.
the South American leagues where it has the Clausura and the Apertura, like the
Yeah,
um
so
two
there's one
sections?
tournament. It's called Apertura and Clausura. I don't
Mm.
know why, but it's basically beginning of the
What
year.
does clausura mean and what does
I think it's
apertura mean?
Apertura
opening and
means
closing, isn't
opening.
Apertura.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
like opening and closing, and that's what they play for. And they cap
So
something
slow
like
down 1 second so I can finally understand this because like I hear this
I don't
stuff, but
understand it myself either.
that makes me feel better because I hate feeling dumb alone.
No,
So
no, no, you're not. Like,
apertura is from when to when, and what do you win at the end of that? And how do you win that?
all right, so probably like it will start the same time the Premier League starts, a week before after, but it's gonna end on December. Like basically, like ends on probably like mid-December. There's 18 teams playing. They play each other every week, just and it's based on points, but it's weird because you qualify for it. They do kind of like some playoff system, but there's 14 teams that qualify for it. So it's just only four teams don't make it. Only four teams do not qualify for it. So that's one of the things that I mean, just Mexico lost 4-0 against Uruguay. They lost against Brazil. They're only going to the World Cup because we're hosting the World Cup. But it's Mexico's so bad. Like right now, like their level
Yeah,
national team is so bad because little
right.
things like that. So just having two tournaments, 14 teams qualifying. How do you make in the league competitive if 14 teams qualify and sometimes the 11th position team might become champion because they had a good run during playoffs.
In the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So then
I
that
saw
one ends in
Mexico.
December. Go ahead.
So I was about to say, I saw Mexico take a beating from Uruguay.
Yeah.
Darwin Nunez scored a hat trick. You know it's bad when that happens.
Yeah. Well, technically, like their excuse was that Mexico wasn't playing with like their best players.
Yeah,
They sort of are trying to do like a new, like kind of like revive the team with like new, like
mm.
younger blood into the team. But those guys should not be playing. Like I feel like you cannot force having like a younger team if you're not good enough for the team. Or if you're gonna do it, at least have like some foundation, like at least have 6, 7 good play like established players with three
Yeah.
youngsters. But no, you cannot just be like, all right, let's put all the youngsters out there and let's show the world that we're not good.
It was
Isn't your
closer against
cycle?
Brazil though.
Yeah. Isn't your cycle over? Like your last cycle of good players, isn't it over? And this is like a rebuilding thing now.
It's just I think so, but it's still I think like the cycle was over probably in 2014. I think like that was basically when that was everybody like Carlos Bella, Chicharito, Giovanni, like all these guys who won the U17 on 2005 or 2006. Like basically they were all kind of like at their prime, and they were playing good. They were playing good. They were good football, but just didn't happen. Just nothing happened. Just I think like what happens in the Mexican I don't know what it is. We just don't know how to be good players in the European system.
Mm. You have some players like in Europe, right? Like who?
Ooh,
I
But
mean, I'm asking you.
there's some who are leaving though, isn't there? Lozano has
Yeah.
left Europe now to come back. He's or not come back. He's playing in. Is he joined an MLS
so
team or is it a
currently, like I
US?
think currently, like I guess like the main stars from the Mexican team in Europe is Edson Alvarez. He's a West Ham. He plays like CDM.
Mm,
He had a really good season.
Mhm.
Santiago Jimenez, who's probably gonna be like a striker that's probably gonna go to Premier League. He was the top scorer for in Netherlands last year.
mm.
And they're basically saying that the coach from I don't think this is gonna happen, but the new coach from Liverpool might want to bring him to Liverpool. I don't see it. I don't see that. But yeah, I think these are the main two players that Mexico has playing regularly, starting 11 in Europe. Everyone else, they're just in Europe, I'm just cruising.
So what happens after the apertura? What's that? How does the other tournament start, and when does it start and go to?
Just basically during when as soon as this, for example, right now ended on May,
Hmm.
we're Apertura ended on May. We're gonna have Clausura starting in around probably first week of September, ends in December, and there's like a little playoffs after. We don't have like any any FA Cup, any like sort of like Mexican Cup, they do
Mhm.
like some kind of tournament in combinations with it's called CONCACAF Champions, where like MLS, Mexican teams, and teams from the Caribbean they play each other and they qualify for the World Cup at the end of the year. Which now I guess he changed it now because they're doing it different.
All right. So this is the funny thing to me.
Yeah.
That Copa America is coming up, right? So now Copa America is expanded and they got CONCACAF teams in Copa America. So that's what's that, 2 weeks from now, Lee?
Yeah, 21st, I think it starts. Or 20th.
20,
It's this weekend coming is the Euros, and the weekend after is the Copa America.
Yeah, June
right. So
20th it starts.
June 20th.
20th. Yeah.
So those teams started playing friendlies this week leading up to that, right? And I see the teams that are going to be competing against each other in Copa America playing each other in friendlies. Like, why is Colombia playing America and why is Mexico playing Brazil? And they're going to be in a competition in next week. Now they might not be in the same groups, but it's just weird. You know what I'm saying? To be playing a team you might meet
Well,
3 weeks from now.
I think like the answer is just money. Like basically,
Mm,
like Mexico can easily go. It's like okay, let's go play England,
mm,
and like a friendly. But all of a sudden, all the money like from the ticket sales, you don't have that anymore. So they're trying.
Mm,
They're like instead they want to play in like Dallas Stadium in front of 100,020 people to watch Vinicius, watch all the players from Madrid, like
mm,
kind of like milk it, sell tickets for 150 to 100,000 people. So it's like, yeah, we don't want to go to England. We'd rather
mm.
just make the money. And even though, like you said, it's silly, but all the teams from the Caribbean, all the teams from South America doing the same thing. They probably rather make some money through ticket sales and all of that than go
right.
into Europe and playing or go to Asia and play some teams in Asia.
I I think it's also because of like the pool of teams isn't that big of like of tournament quality teams, whereas and you can't really play European teams right now because of the Euros. They all want to play. They all
Right.
want to stay in Europe and play friendlies against each other to prepare for the Euros. Like I say, teams maybe not necessarily in your group or even who haven't made the tournament, like England played Iceland. Whereas like it wouldn't make sense for Mexico to travel and play a European team and then travel back um, before a tournament. So I think they're just they're keeping it local. And but that's like when Premier League teams play like the games in the US and like United will play Arsenal pre-season. That when I was a kid, that never normally happened. The only time you'd
Right.
see teams play each other pre-season would be the Community Shield.
But at
Um,
least they travel to do it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
well they
it's
technically done this. They're playing in like the US. Some of these
mhm.
games.
I wonder if those teams are going to stay here or go back home and then come back in 2 weeks. Are they going to stay here? Are they here now to like
Mm.
continue training and
I
stay in
feel
their
like I feel
homes?
like I heard some South American teams already they're staying, just like some
Mm,
teams are already staying. I think like in
hmm.
the
Yeah,
case of Mexico, I think it's probably just because it's closer or
It's
whatever.
next
They might
door.
just they might just or and also like like the players like I don't understand. That Mexican team makes me so upset all the time.
it's, it's, it's funny. It's because that's
Because that's
but
how you
that's
feel about
kind of my
United.
reaction. Like
Yes.
I don't understand it, and it doesn't. I'm like in my football brain. I'm like this is not the normal logic. So it's like it's good. Like your reaction is justifying. Like this is I just wouldn't play somebody I'm gonna play in a tournament 2 weeks from now. So that's just confusing to me. All right, that's cool. Thank you for clearing that up. Speaking of which, you just got Kendrick. Mexico just got Kendrick yesterday in that game. But you, like Lee said, you did play them better than we thought. The game was over. I feel like 2-0 up. Brazil started making substitutions, but their substitutions are awesome. Like they played better with their B team than they. I feel like the players that they brought in kind of like we're already up to. Mexico hasn't been good in a minute, and then Mexico's like, hey, we got a black Colombian that's a national assistant. Just hey, cross that ball over and see if we can force a Brazilian defender to put it in the net for him. So which happened, and it went 2-1, and then it went 2-2, right?
Hmm.
And then but then Kendrick, is it Kendrick or Endrick? I mix it
Endrick,
up.
no
Endrick.
K.
Endrick,
Yeah,
no,
no K.
I think it's because of the Kendrick Lamar battle,
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say.
I'll finally get it. Endrick.
It's mad though. I mean, the guy's 17 years old and he's already scored a winner versus Mexico in the 96th minute. He scored a winner versus England at Wembley. These are some crazy experiences, albeit in friendlies, but crazy experiences for a 17-year-old to be having. And he's not even transferred fully to Real Madrid yet, or he has, but he's not played for them yet. Um, so yeah,
He doesn't
it's
even have
mad.
a fully fit soccer player's body. He takes his shirt off, and you're like, hey man, you could lose some body fat there. You got like kid fat. Like not look, he's not obese or nothing, but he's got like when a kid hasn't developed like into full like man body. Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's what a kid with his family on vacation about to jump into a pool. So if your body doesn't have a full athletic body and you're doing this to grown men who have full athletic bodies, the world is in trouble. Adults are in trouble. Like number two is when he scores, it ain't nothing to him. Like the, he scores and then he winks and then it's like, oh, he's confident. Like this is play for him. Like this is not even a challenge, and that's when it's a problem. When when you're doing the most difficult thing and to you it's fun, and everybody else is straining. So I just feel like this is going to be a bananas situation, and by the time he's done being famous, I will say his name right. Like I believe in this kid. How do you guys feel about Endrick? My homie Endrick.
I've seen him. I think he has a lot of potential. I think the move to Madrid. I don't. I think for him, it's probably not. It's probably gonna be good playing in Madrid, like learning from those players. But
Mm-hmm.
how do you distribute the minutes? Like I don't even know. I don't even think Rodrigo is gonna be playing anymore. So how do you justify like putting? Because I think like they're gonna play Mbappe, Vinicius, and some in Bellingham somehow or something, or maybe with Rodrigo as well. But how do you add Kendrick to that as well? Endrick.
I
I say
think
Kendrick too.
I think he'll be. I don't think like because I don't think like 17-year-old is going to come in and play as a
Yeah.
starter every game of the season. So I think he'll be like the bench option or play him in some of the games against the other teams. So I think the starting lineup for them has to be Mbappe, Vinny, and Rodrigo as a front three with Bellingham as a 10, and then they'll have to have two disciplined centre midfielders behind that to hold it down while those four just go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Endrick would just be another because you've got to have another option. You can't just have those guys and then if one of them gets injured, you've got nothing kind of thing. So I think it'll be like Endrick and like Brahim Diaz,
Yeah.
maybe, and if they keep Hoselu as well, like he can be like the big number 9 to come in if they need him as well. Because you got to have backups in all those positions. So um, that's some crazy squad depth they've got next season.
Up front, like I feel like they might suffer. Like remember the old Galacticos that got rid of Makaleli, and then
Mm.
defensively they couldn't hold water. And I feel like I watched this thing on like how Ancelotti is successful because he doesn't complain. Like he said, he needed defensive players at the beginning of the season and also at the halfway point. They didn't bring any in, and they just got more offensive players. And they lost Benzema, and they still won, and he never complained. And it's like they still don't have defensive players. They're trying to get uh, Alfonso Davies, and they don't want to buy him. But Bayern Munich is not going to let him go for free. They're going to sell him in the transfer window if he doesn't sign a contract. So he's either going to sign a contract and Real Madrid's going to have to buy him, or they're going to sell him to somebody else, or Real Madrid's going to have to buy him before they get him for free next season. So, but they do need Nacho's about to be out, I think,
Mm.
and Nacho's one of their best defenders, but he's like 35. I didn't even know he was that old. So I feel like midfield wise and defensive wise, they have to be careful. If they attack too much, they're gonna be open.
They got like Camavinga and Tchouameni in there, Valverde
Yeah,
can sit in there as well.
yeah. Modric is gonna come back for another season, like as a
Yeah,
coach player, so he'll be a little defensive for them.
yeah.
But they only
Centre
got
backs
one
definitely.
Carvajal.
Yeah, centre back's definitely a position there. Like you say, if Nacho's on the way out, Militao has sort of kind of dropped off a little bit. Like he was like a starter for them for a while, but then he lost his place this season. Alaba has been playing centre back some games, like tucking in, playing that role while Mendy plays left back.
Yeah,
But I don't think Alaba's like the long term solution there either. So yeah, they probably do need to buy a centre back, but I don't know if they got the money to after Endrick and Mbappe coming in.
yeah. You just mentioned like players that's been injured all year. Like Alaba's not even going to play in the Euros because he's
Mm,
injured from the season, and then Mendy, when he plays, he's good. But there's months I watch Real Madrid and never see Mendy. I see him less than I see him, and it's all a
yeah.
fitness thing. And then the only person that has any he's the oldest guy in defense, Carvajal. He's the only one that has any durability. And then the Rudiger, he gets injured not as much as the rest. But and
Mm,
Milito's Militao, he's young, but he had the big injury last year. So yeah,
mm.
they're gonna have some issues. But let's go to the Euros. I was like looking up these groups, and I'm gonna run these groups by y'all. And since the Euros is next week, and let's see who y'all got. So first group, Group A, Germania, Scotlandia. You ever see those American uh, uh, game they call soccer games, but they want to sound like they know the sport in a European way. So they Hungria, Switzerlandia, like there's one guy he always puts a thing on somebody's name. It's like just say the name, bro. By the way, I just saw Mbappe do the Lukaku American voice in an interview.
Mm,
You know how Neil pointed out that it's people laugh at Lukaku because he has an American voice. Mbappe got
yeah.
this same shit, fam. I didn't know Mbappe could speak English. I figured he could, but he just did an interview and he's well, when you know what I'm saying, and I'm like, well, Mbappe? It's like an American dude with a French accent. It's hilarious.
That's funny. Um, yeah, that first group. I mean, you got to think Germany will win it. Even though
Sure.
they've been up and down,
Mm.
but I think they've got the quality um, in there to go win it if their players show up. Um, and but I mean, there's some tricky teams in there. Like Scotland are tricky now.
Yeah.
They caused Spain a bunch of problems in the qualifying group. Um, and McTominay's prolific for them more so than he is for United sometimes. But they got solid Premier League players in there like McGinn from Villa, solid
Yeah.
player. Robertson's quality from Liverpool
Mhm.
as well. They've got one of the best strikers in the world, Shea Adams, probably going to be their starting number 9. Um,
That's hilarious.
no, centre forward though probably is where they've got the biggest sort of deficit maybe. But yeah, they've got good players in there, and there's a guy Ferguson, Evan Ferguson played for Bologna this year in Serie A, helped them get to Champions League qualification. So they got players in some random places as well. But yeah, they've got good players. So Billy Gilmore, if he can find some form, hasn't had the best season at Brighton, but can be a quality player. Keep the midfield ticking over, keep the ball moving. But yeah, Hungary and Switzerland as well. Like they got players. Hungary got Szoboszlai, who's had a fairly good season for Liverpool. They've got other good players around Europe as well. Like they got the guys from Leipzig, Orban, and the goalkeeper whose name I forget as well. They got good players, so it's a solid team. Switzerland as well. It's a hard group, that one. There's no like team who I think will get absolutely smashed by everyone. So yeah, I think Germany will top it.
Yeah, just off that, I'm like traumatized just from Hungary from that last Euros to just what they've beaten England, I think, twice after those Euros, and just how tough of a game they gave Germany in the Euros. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna feel safe about this Hungary team until I see them beat. So like you're saying, like I believe they're difficult, and I agree with you on the uh the Scotland tip. Like those individual pieces together, they can be a problem, and for us for a Scotland team. And Switzerland, I know they got that. They have Shaka, right?
Mm-hmm.
And last time they knocked France out of the Euros. So who knows? Let's see up to date. Then what do you think, Alex,
Um, yeah, I
about
think
this
like the
group?
obvious Germany is probably like the obvious one, like, basically to win the group. I think like when I watched, it's been a minute, probably like a couple months, couple maybe a year that I haven't watched Switzerland. But when I watch them, I think like I think they know what they're playing for. You know, like I think like they were
Mm.
compacted well. Like it's like a decent team. So based on that, I think like I'll probably go with Germany and Switzerland.
Yeah, there's some good players in that Switzerland squad though. They got Akanji, who's been playing at the back for City this year. Fabian Schär from Newcastle, who seems to pop up with a
Yeah,
bunch of goals.
I'm looking at
Um,
them now. Yeah,
yeah, Jan Sommer, the Inter Milan goalkeeper, formerly of like I think he was at Bayern for a bit and
And I
Borussia
don't know if
Mönchengladbach as
I
well.
don't know if Shaqiri is still playing, but everything he plays,
Shaqiri's
like I
he's in
yeah,
remember
the
he is. He's on. He's
I
in the
he
remember
plays
squad.
every time
yeah he
Shaqiri
plays for
Shaqiri
Chicago, but he's in
national
there.
team Shaqiri is like it's a different player, man.
Mm.
Yeah, because he shows up when he wants to, but this might be one of the times when he wants to show up.
Yeah, and they just got some other solid players as well, like Dennis Zakaria, who had a season on loan at Chelsea from Juve.
Mm-hmm.
He's been playing at Monaco this year. Monaco have been up near the top of the French league, and like we say, Zaka won the Bundesliga as well. So yeah, there's a lot of solid like Bundesliga players in there as well, and players in Serie A. Like all their players are pretty much in top leagues. So yeah, it's a really tough group, that one.
Yeah, it is a tough group, and there's more than one tough group too. Because even when I scroll down to this Group B, this is a group of death too,
Yeah,
because Group A is kind of a form of a group of death, and this you got Spain, Italy, and Albania. I don't know who's going to win this group, but I know Croatia has the dopest jerseys. And I don't know how Croatia does it with their jerseys, but every tournament I want a Croatia jersey. It's like they have like the most complicated kind of like design that works out like when you have to do those boxes, but then you make it hot. That's crazy because there's teams with just like I was looking at Norway's jersey. I was watching Holland, and I was like, why are they letting Odegaard and Holland playing that, man? That is this. It's just a design nightmare. Like it's. I've seen Sunday League jerseys that look like they belong on a runway in France compared to what those guys are. I'm watching their friendlies, and I'm like, somebody hang the designer by the toes because this guy is trying to hurt the team. There's going to be no jersey sales. But Spain, Croatia, and Italy. Italy won the tournament last time. Croatia, they're just always dangerous. Did they just beat Portugal in a friendly this week? Was that Croatia?
They
No,
just
that
yeah.
played
was
The
each other, yeah.
Croatia
But
for I don't know remember the score, but they play each other.
yeah. So they won
yeah,
then 2-1.
yeah, they did, yeah.
That's Modric's team, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Modric scored a penalty.
Yeah. So yeah, Modric and then Perisic, and just so they just beat Spain and oh we were just being critical, or I was, and then Spain and why did Spain just did the same shit with Croatia yet 2 days ago? They played a friendly against each other. They're in and they're in the same group. That's
No,
crazy.
they did. They no Spain and Croatia didn't play.
No, it wasn't them.
Portugal.
No, they
right?
No, my bad. Spain and Portugal. My bad. Okay, my
yeah.
bad.
Yeah,
It was
Spain played
Portugal
Northern
and Spain.
Ireland and trashed them.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, I think from this group I'll go with Spain and Croatia. Even though I mean Italy probably has a good team, but I just Croatia when during tournaments, I will never bet against them. I think they
Good
just play.
idea.
Yeah, they do well. Maybe their
Yeah,
last chance too, right? The last chance
yeah.
of some players too. Yeah, this is like I guess like the cycle ends here. Like as you mentioned, I don't see I mean Modric. I don't see Modric playing another tournament, or the same with Kovacic and some of those guys.
Mm. I feel like Italy as well. They're in like a transitional period where a lot of the players from when they won the Euros have moved on. They've either retired or they're not in the squad anymore. So like the Bonucci and Chiellini are gone. Even like Immobile up front, he's gone. He's not in the squad. The only people that are sort of still there, like Donnarumma, obviously still there. Jorginho's still there. But then, yeah, the rest, there's a lot of new players in there. So, yeah, a bit of a transitional period for them. They only beat Bosnia 1-0, but like I say, I don't read too much into friendlies. But I think the squads from Croatia and Spain are just stronger. But again, Croatia, another one who've gone through a little bit of a transitional spell, but I think their players are a bit more solid. But I mean, any two of those three could go through, and like Albania are gonna be horrible to play against. Because they're managed by a Brazilian though, which is
Oh,
slightly
yeah.
strange. Ex Arsenal and Barcelona fullback Silvino, um, played fullback for them like in the sort of early 2000s, I think, maybe late 90s. But he's there and he's got them playing like they'll be in a low block. They'll try and play on the counter. They've got some speedy players. If he's fit, I think Armando Broja, ex Southampton centre forward, who's at Chelsea, I think he'll play for them if he's healthy. He can be a problem because he's quick and he's big and he can finish. So they'll be trying to spring him and the wingers on the counter attack. So they'll be horrible to play against, and I think they could end up upsetting maybe one of those teams in a game where they pinch a draw off them or something, or just be horrible to play against. So yeah, and then I think it's just a great group to watch though, because we get to see those big games, because those are normally like quarterfinal, semi-final, final games, Spain versus Italy, or Spain versus Croatia, or Italy Croatia kind of thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watch them, and I'm looking forward to this this Spain team as well with the young talent. I love watching like Pedri and Gavi, these guys, and I don't know if Gavi's in there, if he's injured or not. Pedri's definitely in there.
Pedri's in.
But Lamine Yamal as well.
Yeah, Gavi's injured. Yeah, he's not in there.
Yeah, but Lamal's in there, and he like he's what 16 still? Is he still 16?
Yeah, I think, yeah, 16. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. He's 16.
Yeah, I think he
It's
gets
just
younger every game.
unbelievable. Yeah, like this guy's 16. He just played a full season with Barcelona as an undeniable starter. Or maybe he started halfway through the season, but damn, that is so crazy.
Yeah, he got 2 assists. They beat Northern Ireland 5-1. He got a couple of assists in that. But yeah, I mean they've got quality players. Like they've got those creative midfielders, but they got Rodri holding it down in centre midfield as well. And you just know what you've seen what he does for a team at City all season. He just does the job that a lot of people don't see, where he just he keeps the balance of the team as well. So yeah, he's in there. Nico Williams is really exciting to watch as well. Inaki Williams' younger brother. So yeah, they've got some exciting people in this team. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching them.
I don't believe in him like that. I don't believe in him like that because I love all the players that you just mentioned, but I'm looking at their forwards. They got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they're all bang average. Besides, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about Lamine. He's young. He's 16. So, but Ferran Torres is like he's reliable on a regular basis.
Mm.
Morata is unreliable on a regular basis. Like Danny Olmo, unreliable on a regular basis. They might have their moments, they might have their games, but it's just and then they just brought this person back from the dead. He's 38 years old, Jesus Navas. Like when you when you like scrambling and you're like, Jesus, what are you doing? You want to play for Spain again? You like, I know you didn't like you didn't play for us for like 10 years, but we kind of need somebody, you know. And he's like, yeah. So and they have him listed as forward, and he was, I think, at
Right back.
Sevilla. He's
Yeah.
playing right back. So how do you have a guy who progressively has become more defensive for club teams? Now they have him listed as a forward, and they have Nico Williams, who you mentioned, who plays kind of forward. They have him listed as a midfielder. At least list Jesus Navas. Like, so that's just banana. So I don't.
He played
This
as a
is
right back for them, I think, against Northern Ireland for Spain. Because it was him and
that.
Lamine Yamal down the side.
I mean, maybe they're saying he goes forward so much from the back that we're just gonna list him as a forward, but he's listed as a forward. But he's a defender now, so he's better as a defender because his finishing was just he could get you up there into the attacking area, but his decision making in the final third, it's gotten better. But that's what he was missing from being an elite player. So I don't know, Spain. But I just because I just think Croatia is just the most professional team in that group. I'm gonna say they're getting out for sure. And it's between Spain and Italy because Italy's in a transition phase. We know it ain't gonna be Albania, but so it's between Italy and Spain to to get out of that group. And then Group C, Slovenia, Denmark, Serbia, and England. We all got.
I mean, I've got to back England despite the the players that have been left out and the friendly results. Like I said, I don't read too much into that. I think we've got a good enough team. I don't know if we've got a good enough team to win it because the defense does cause me some concern, but definitely a good enough team to get out of this group. Although again, it's there's tricky teams in there like Serbia. First game, they're not pushovers. Denmark won't be pushovers, and Slovenia I don't know too much about. So yeah, I think we should have enough to just get through that group. I don't think it'll be spectacular from England. I think it will just be like 1-0, 2-0, or 2-1 wins. Maybe a draw against one of the teams as well. But yeah, I think England should top that group, but we shall see. Because yeah, like I say, there's a lot of teams. Let's have a look at this Denmark squad. Because obviously they got your guys in there, Ericsson and Højlund.
Yeah.
But they got a bunch of other Premier League players as well. Højbjerg.
They just beat Norway in a friendly.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't a bad result. Yeah, they got like Damsgaard who plays for Brentford and Vestergaard who's come off the back of a really good season with Leicester. Christensen from Barca, ex Chelsea. So yeah, they'll be solid. They got some good players. Same with Serbia as well.
Like Højbjerg too, right?
Yeah, he's in there. He's in there.
He's one of those players like sometimes he can be good and then sometimes he could be bad for a minute.
Yeah. Serbia's team is mad experienced. Like they've got a lot of experience. They just went and ruined the because they just played Sweden in a friendly and Sweden had this big ceremony to commemorate Ibrahimovic retiring. So like his 122 caps and 60 something goals, I think they were commemorating that, and Serbia turned up in Sweden and beat them 3-0. But like Milinkovic Savic, who now plays in Saudi Arabia, who was at Lazio, really good player, was constantly linked with big European clubs, and they got Mitrovic, who's out there as well. But he's, these guys have just had a year in the sun, so they'll be loving life when they come back to Europe. They've just been out there getting that son. Tadic as well. He's not, like I say, not getting any younger, but he scored from that game too. He's a good player. They got Vlahovic, who's at Juve, good forward. Like they'll be a problem.
They even got Luka Jovic, who's coming over from basketball to. Is it the same name? Luka Jovic.
Jokic is the
Jokic,
basketball player. Yeah. They got
Like,
Jovic.
how do you spell Jokic? How do you spell Jokic?
It's same as Jovic, but with a K instead of a V.
Oh, okay, that's close. I was like, is this the same dude?
But yeah, it's a strong, like I say, strong squad they've got. So a lot of experience, a lot of players that are playing in top leagues as well. So yeah, I think England, like I say, I'd expect us to qualify and then one of Serbia or Denmark.
Right.
I have to go with Serbia because I play with Serbians on a league. So if I say anything else, yeah, I play with like a bunch of Croatians and Serbians and basically all those guys from back when there was like Yugoslavia, and every time I mix it up, they take it so personal, you know. And like, I'm not from Croatia, I'm from Serbia. I'm not from. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I apologize.
Why you keep yelling nationalities out at them? Just say their names.
Well, I'll just say something like, "Hey, did you watch a Croatia game?" Like, I don't watch Croatia games. I'm from Serbia, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, bro." You know, like, "Hey, I'm so sorry."
Now they know how Asian people feel when people don't take into consideration like the type of
Hey,
Asian
I
that
don't
they
say
are.
anything when they're like, "Hey, did you like that Mexican that you brought?" I'm like, "He's not Mexican. He's from El Salvador," you know. But that's okay.
It's
I don't
like
correct him.
Denmark or Norway. I'm like, it's the same thing. Like I have to and I mix up the Australian accent and the English accent. Like I have a crowd work clip where I mistook somebody who was Australian for English, and then somebody that was English in the crowd jumped down my throat. Like, and it's like, what do you? And like they sounded really self righteous, and I was like, so it's funny. It's like a lot of minorities get offended, but we do the same thing to like the Serbia, Croatia thing, or Denmark, Norway, Australia. Whether it's an accent or you just think somebody's from somewhere.
Hey, I have a super quick question about the England squad numbers. I'm obviously confused. So, like, the first 11, is that what it means? Those are the 11 starters?
Let's see.
No, it's just the numbers they prefer or the number the manager wanted to give them. Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it.
During friendlies, right? Like, don't have like the 11 they were whoever's playing, like the first 11.
Yeah,
I think like it's the only team that I feel like that actually kind of happens, right? I feel like other teams, if you have a number, kind of like you can always carry it, but if you started in that day, you might be number 7 or number whatever.
yeah. So for friendlies, it normally goes 1 to 11, but then for the tournament they got squad numbers, but the 1 to 11 in that doesn't really mean anything. Some of it does. Like he gave Mark Guay number 6, and I think he will start as the centre back with Stones, but yeah, some of it I wouldn't read too much into. Some players they want like the number they wear for their club or something. So it's not too much to read into it.
I hope Guay he's going to be nervous. He's been nervous in the friendlies, so I know he's going to be nervous in the beginning of the tournament. So I hope they get through the first round and he gets confident, because I feel like it's definitely going to be him and Stones and starting. Because who else? I trust Gomez more, but he's been playing.
Yeah,
like right was he right left back or right back for Liverpool sometimes?
he can play as a right back. Yeah,
that's why I don't think they consider him like a solid option for like center back, which
yeah, Dunk's in there as well.
Yeah, those are all nervous people you're mentioning, like people that got mistakes in them because they're not confident. Like Guay's he made a bad pass in the game before, but the other team didn't capitalize on it. But it was the type of goal that, what game was I watching? Oh, in the Champions League final, that Matson, it's one of those Matson passes for the second goal of Real Madrid versus Dortmund. Like, but
Mm.
the difference is Real Madrid scored, and I think we were playing. Who did we play the game before this?
Bosnia.
Bosnia. Yeah, it didn't. So yeah. So it's gonna be shaky in the back, man. It's gonna be shaky in the back, but hopefully we could figure it all out. Let's see what other groups. How many? What's the?
It's the one with Netherlands and France next.
That's another
Poland and
tough group.
Poland and Austria in there as well.
That's a tough group, man. That's a
Yeah,
crazy group. I wouldn't worry about
Austria.
Poland, but Austria
Austria.
is.
They've been looking good under Ralph Rangnick, obviously, legendary ex-Man United coach.
Yeah. I feel like Ronaldo ruined them. I feel like Ronaldo was not trying to press, and he kind of like turned the team against Ragnick. I have no proof
Yeah.
of that, but in an interview, I think in the what's his name interview, uh, Ronaldo's exit interview, he was
Piers
critical
Morgan thing.
of the style of play, and how it differed from how he plays. And
Mm.
it's like, hey man, you're on this team. You got to play how the team plays. So I can tell that there was an issue. And if Ronaldo don't like you, you know, and he's gonna throw I mean, it didn't work out with him and the coach afterwards. So I feel like
Mm.
Ragnick coming in as not who hadn't been a coach for a minute
Yeah.
and being an interim guy, like if you don't have Ronaldo with you, you
Mm.
might lose the rest of the players.
This is the thing though as well. Like I joke saying he's a legendary ex-Man United coach, but in Germany he is a legendary coach. He birthed like the style of play that influenced Klopp and Tuchel and Nagelsmann and all these guys. Like he was the Gegen pressing like grandfather kind of thing. And in Austria, he's working with a lot of players who play in the Bundesliga
Yeah,
and get that
all the Leipzig
style as well.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah, like players who get that style. So I think it's a nice fit for him from the sounds of it, playing or coaching with that team. So yeah, they'll cause some problems in that group, I think, for because France and Netherlands should be the favourites, but Netherlands have always got like a tournament fuck up in them because they're not quite what they used to be. They've still got some good players, but they're not like they haven't got like because if you look at like those Netherlands teams of like the 90s and the early 2000s, there was genuine like world class all around that team. And now it's like, oh, they've got maybe, one or two, but then they've also got some just average, good to average players in there as well. So if they're not on it, someone like Austria could sneak in there. France should top that group.
right. I feel like where Netherlands is lacking is their forward, their nine in the nine position. Like I do like what's his name?
Gakpo.
Well, Gakpo is not like a full adult player that they'll like. Let me see how old is Gakpo.
He's at 24, maybe
He's 25, but I
25.
feel
Yeah.
like he'll either blossom this tournament or this will be his last tournament of growing pains. So it could go either way. But Memphis Depay is probably going to be their starting nine, and then their backup nine would be Weghorst. So I feel like, but they have Frimpong, who just had a great season with
Leverkusen.
Leverkusen.
Yeah.
I believe in Marlon. I believe in Marlon, and like the other guy is Bergwijn, who Bergwijn is like this. We talk about inconsistence. Like his consistency is inconsistent. Like just when you think it's going to take off for him, it doesn't. They do have Xavi Simons, who I like,
Yeah. De
but
Jong.
like the I was just looking at their forwards. Yeah, so De Jong, I think he's injured. I don't think he's
Did
gonna
not make
be.
it.
And no, he's there, but I feel like he's injured, so they're playing the tournament to get him in shape. He's one of those
Mm.
players that is question marks in the beginning. So I really love him. Yeah, he got skills. And, they got and then their defense is solid. I feel like with Ake, Van Dyke,
Mm.
And
Mateus,
Delight.
and Van der Ven. They might
Who
have
would
to
you
get
start
Yeah,
out
I
of
think
those
like
two
I
for your
think
centre
like
backs?
yeah, I think like they're back for in the goal. Like like their defense is better than any. That's the best part of the team. But
Yeah, it
after
is.
that, it's somewhat like you said, like their forwards are not really like scary in anyone.
Yeah, their forward situation is suspect. It's sus. Here's the thing about who would I start central defender. I watched Netherlands play just the highlights, and Van der Ven was left back, so they wasn't even like playing him in the middle.
Yeah, you
So
can play him or you can play Ake there as well. Ake doesn't have to be centre back, so
right.
they got some nice players that they can move around that back line for sure. And Van der Ven, we know he's got the pace to play fullback.
Yeah, he does. He does. But I just like where I met him, as a central defender. But yeah, he could be their Kyle Walker. But their defense is, just defense wise, I guess they should get through.
Hmm. Yeah, it should be France and Netherlands, but
Yeah, and they
I
put
think
a
if anyone messes up, Austria will be there.
yeah, they gave Canada an ass thrashing this weekend. It was 0-0 halftime. I was like, okay, Canada, okay. And then second half, that's what Netherlands did to the US in the World Cup. Made them think they had a chance after the first half, and then blew them away. We say, all right, we got two more groups: Ukraine, Slovakia, Belgium, Romania.
I think like I don't know anything about this. Like I don't know much about like I only know about Belgium. Ukraine. I don't know of like what's the situation
they're
with
in a
Ukraine.
war, so they're fighting for theirs. They're fighting for their country. But this is how they, this is so there's going to be a lot of passion and emotion behind Ukraine, and they have some EPL players. You know what I
And
mean?
I think if I hear about Romania, I think like they were undefeated. If I remember, I think like that's what I heard. Like they were undefeated through the whole quali. I don't know
Yeah,
who. So they should be. I mean, they're undefeated for like for a while
yeah.
now. So they should be okay.
They've
I
got some good
think.
players. Obviously, they've got players we know from the Premier League. Mudryk and
Yeah.
Zinchenko. But they've got other good players as well, and obviously legendary player as manager in Shevchenko. Um, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they get on. They've been really solid. Mikolenko there from Everton as well.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, they've got a solid team, and like you say, their qualification record is pretty good. And I don't think obviously this is the hardest of groups for them either. Um, so I think Belgium and Ukraine should go through. Um, Slovakia and Romania are a bit more unknown quantities to me.
Well,
So
Romania
that might
was like
be
Romania was top of the group, and I think like they were the only team. I think there might be a couple more teams, but they were undefeated through the qualifying, and they won the group.
mm.
So I don't know who are them. I don't know any players from Romania. Maybe I do, but I'm like,
they've
whoa, they're
they got the son of a legendary player. They've got Hadji's kid
oh
playing
gosh,
for them.
gosh,
Like
gosh.
George Hadji was obviously a legendary player
Yeah.
on any level. He at Barca. But yeah, his son's in the team these days, which is interesting. But yeah, I mean they drew 0-0 with Liechtenstein on Friday, which
That's
like I
not
say, you
good.
don't read too much into friendlies, but a 0-0 draw with Liechtenstein is not a good look. Liechtenstein, there's more people that live in my village than live in Liechtenstein. Um, so it's, but I mean, England lost to Iceland, so can't say anything about friendlies. But yeah, I would expect
Okay,
Ukraine
I just pull
and
up
Belgium.
their qualifying, and yeah, it's a little. They're playing Kosovo, Switzerland, Israel, Belarus, Andorra, Israel. So I think they kind of looked out on that one.
Mm.
Yeah, luck of the draw, but it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
although they
kind of in the group. Go ahead.
if they top a group with Switzerland, that's still good going.
I don't know. I don't know, Romania. This might be the end of the road group, the group stage. I don't know. Group F, Portugal, Is that Chechnya? This is the Czech Republic, but how do they pronounce it now?
Czechia.
Or
Czechia, yeah.
they changed their name? There's no Czech Republic anymore?
Oh, it
Yeah,
is.
It's
But
Czechia.
it's Czechia. Like that's the way I think.
Mm.
What happened with that?
I think it was just a political thing, like a name change.
Mm-hmm.
The border's still the same. They haven't like invaded anyone or been invaded or anything. I think it's just a name change as far as I'm aware.
It
Yeah.
says
I
here
think
that
it's just how
they
they
change
say it
it to
and
make
how
it
we've been
easier for
saying
companies and sports teams. I don't think that's easier at all.
it. Czechia. It's
Yeah,
what
it
Yeah,
did
it's
says
you
one word.
say?
it says like they changed it. It's like they changed it to make it easier for companies and sports teams to use their own products and clothing to basically for the brand purposes. I like Czech Republic more. I think like it
Me
just
too.
sounds cool.
Like for
Hey,
football, yeah.
this is less letters, one word. Yeah, but that's not good if you're letting a brand team choose your country name. This is marketing guys that have come up with this.
Yeah, this is
Um,
marketing.
but I think obviously Portugal should top that group. Like their squad is. I've joked before that they're still relying on old man Ronaldo, but they're not. Like that is a really quality squad that they've got there. In so many positions as well. When you look across that team, like just a silly amount of good players. Like I think let's have a look at the team. So like
You know,
yeah,
I would love
like,
Portugal to win it, but I just don't want to see Bruno Fernandes win it. You know,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow,
it's
fam.
like I do want Bernardo to win it, but I don't want Bruno Fernandes to win it. You know,
What do you want
you've got more
more?
players than they have. You've got Ruben Diaz in there as well.
Yeah.
And we got Bruno, man. So
But
it's just I
we got
wanna,
Diego Delot. We
Yeah,
got
too
yeah.
Diego
too.
Delot there.
And we got Matthew Nunez
And then you
too,
got your ex players, João Cancelo there.
and Matthew.
Yeah,
Well, he's still our player, Matthew Nunez as well. They're sort of
Yeah,
Portuguese. Yeah.
and
yeah.
there's a lot of talk at the moment that Palhinha, the defensive midfielder, he's on his way to Bayern. They say 45 million euros from Fulham. So be company's
Oh, that's a good player.
first signing. But he'll
Well,
be holding
he
down the
he
midfield
almost
while
went last time, and something happened that
yeah
he didn't go.
in January he was tipped to go there. But yeah, like they got him. Obviously Vitinha as well, Bernardo, João Felix, Ramos. Yeah, there's so many good players in that team.
I feel like this is the most
Like
complete team in the
Rafael,
tournament.
Diego Jota, Rafael Leao.
This is the best team in the tournament. Like on paper,
Yeah,
best team in the tournament. And I think them getting rid of their coach is was the only way to stop Ronaldo from starting. But let's see if Roberto Martinez. Like I like Martinez as a person, but I'm not
yeah,
sure how good he is as a coach, just based on what he didn't do with Belgium. Like I felt like he could have did more with Belgium, but at the same time, he had Hazard, and how are you going to tell Hazard to play hard if he doesn't want to? You know, and he's a major component of your team, so you can't.
yeah. But no, that Portugal squad is pretty stacked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think like after probably them and France, I feel like they're like they got like the most depth in
Mhm.
in every position.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. On paper, they got everything. It's crazy. It's
mm.
just goddamn ridiculous.
Yeah. Like they got like the ex Wolves midfielder Neves, who went out to Saudi Arabia, still a very good midfielder. Like he's
And
not even in the
right back,
team.
like I think they got the best. Right, I mean, I don't like I hate Cancelo, but Nuno Mendes and Cancelo, it's probably the best, two of the best, basically right left back and right back situation in the cup.
Well, they started Dallo and Mendes against Croatia. Cancelo
Oh,
came off the
Dalot's gonna
bench.
play.
I think he's a better defender than Cancelo. Cancelo's better going forward. He's better technically. So it depends what they want out of the games, I think, and what they're thinking they're going to be facing. But yeah, I mean, picking a starting 11 out of that team is hard because of the quality they've got. But yeah, it's they like I say they should top that group. Second
Yeah,
place in that group,
Mendes
I
is
think maybe
amazing.
I would probably say Turkey, but again, I don't know enough about Czechia at the moment to say
I would I
Whether
would
they
say Czech Republic, but I don't like the name, so I'm gonna go with Turkey.
Sometimes you just have to make those simple choices. You feel me? I get you. Turkey just fizzled the last tournament. Like
Mm,
they were the only
they
team
flopped. Yeah.
that was like worse than Wales. And it's like I think they lost to Wales. I think they were in this. I was like every time they were so bad that every time they went out, I said they're not going to win, and they didn't. Like it was the one team you could count on to just not deliver. So I don't know what's changed since. We'll see. So yeah, I'm gonna go Portugal, Czechia, then Georgia. Georgia is gonna get hammered.
I'm looking forward to watching them just because I don't know anything about them.
Mhm.
So yeah, I want to watch. I want to watch a team I don't know anything about. I know they've got Kvaratskhelia for Napoli,
Oh,
who has been amazing the
Oh
last.
yeah,
Well, he was better last season than he was this
yeah.
season because Napoli
right.
sort of flopped a bit. But he's a really exciting player. So he's all I know about Georgia.
There's this weird thing in Italy where 3 years ago, the players, three of their players, top players from the Italia Serie A, say his name again. You just said it. He plays for Georgia,
Kvaratskhelia.
right? I'm not gonna attempt to say that. And then uh Leao and what's the guy from Napoli?
Osimhen.
Osimhen. Like all those players fell off like the last two
Mm.
seasons. Like they had these great seasons where they were the talk of the world, and then they're on three different teams, and they kind of just have been subpar. You don't hear their names like you heard them like the year that like 2 years ago or a year and a
Well,
half
That's
ago.
because they had a good season. They wanted to leave. Napoli put like £100 million price tag on, so they're like, "Well, I don't want to leave. I want that price. I'm not going to get a move at that price, so I'm going to have a bad season, bring my price down, and then
Oh,
get the move."
oh, it's tactical. All right.
So
No, I don't know.
Lozano, the Mexican player, he was playing for
Mm.
Napoli, and I don't know if this was like a Mexican narrating the games, but he started calling this guy Cabacharil, I don't know the name, Cabaradona, like because he's like
Mm.
this guy plays like Maradona, and he started calling him
Mhm.
Cabaradona, and he became a team that like basically everyone in Latin America, Mexican stuff, they call him Cabaradona, and he had such a good Champions League when he played against Liverpool and all those teams.
Oh, he
And I
destroyed them.
actually, yeah, I was like, wow, I'm actually literally watching like this guy's so amazing. And I started kind of watching, and then you're right, they just fell off.
They fell off. And I also think that guy called him Cabaradona because it's just easier to say than his original
That's
name.
true. That's true.
It
But he
is
did
like,
some crazy. He did some crazy stuff. Like with the, I was like, I don't
Mm.
think I've seen like. I think like I've seen Messi and probably another left foot. I think like he was probably like the second best dribbler on the
Yeah, his
left.
dribbling was unreal.
yeah, those guys just fell off in the Italian league. Like the players in the Italian league last year were like that I heard about the most were the ex Chelsea players that went to AC Milan. You know what I mean? Like even Lukaku, like from winning the league under Conte, he's fallen off to compared to you know. So it's weird. Like I feel like the players at the top of the league that are talked about the most, maybe one guy will fall off in the Premier
Mm.
League, but the the top players remain the top players, and the Italian league's top players 2 years ago, like you don't hear shit about them now.
Yeah.
Like
Syria,
Osimhen was
Syria Deli Ali.
it's hilarious. Well,
No, that's harsh on them. They're better than that, but yeah,
yeah,
it's up to them to try and prove to the world that they're especially if they get a move as well. I think Kvaratskhelia will probably stay, but I think Osimhen, or he might move, but Osimhen I think will definitely move this summer. He kind of needs to.
yeah, he does because Napoli was pretty toxic to him, especially on their Twitter account and their website. It was like, how are you gonna do that against
Mm.
the player of the year in the Syria? Like, are you out of
Yeah.
your mind? Yeah, get out of there, fam.
I didn't really understand like the whole thing. Like they posted a clip of him missing the PK, and then he started following everyone, and it just got. I think like he got out of control so quick from both
Yeah,
sides.
But did he miss the penalty, or he just wanted to take the penalty, and he had to kind of fight to take the penalty, and he should have been. And then they just
No,
put
I
a
think
cry.
he missed something. Yeah.
I think he missed it. All right.
Yeah, if I remember, I think like he did something like he missed like a chance or like if he's a PK or something, and the account shared it with like something kind of like blaming him a little bit, kind of
Oh,
like
like
just
a
like a
meme.
little
I think
more.
they
Like,
turned it into a meme or something.
The
yeah, and it
Napoli page trolled him.
Napoli's
Their
page
own.
trolled him
That,
exactly,
that,
and it just got out of control. It's just who was responsible for that, but whoever was responsible for that. If it was an intern or someone like it's like you're like you should be like never have a computer again in your life.
yeah, Napoli ain't won the league since Maradona. They finally win it. Their best player, hands down, is Osman. And you're gonna the next year, like, troll him, like, and you're not. It doesn't even come out that it's a hack. They did that shit. It's crazy. Get out
That's
of
what
here,
you should
Osman.
say. Like we got hacked by AC Milan.
Yeah, do that. So next week we'll cover the the first week of the Euros, and if Alex is available, we could talk about the Copa coming up. Unless they play all the games from the Copa this
Yeah,
week,
they're
and
they're
then
they're they're they haven't like
and
they're actually that actually
then
is happening. They're playing
and
each
it,
other.
yeah. So who knows? Like this. I mean, the fact that there's Concacaf teams in the that's that's like having Caribbean teams in the goddamn Euros. It's like the Euros stays the Euros, but I guess there are some
No,
teams in the
but
Euros
I
that
do
are
I do I
questionables.
do like the fact that we're playing Copa America because trust me, like nobody wants to watch
Yeah,
like
the
the
Gold Cup.
CONCACAF Gold Cup exactly. Mexico playing the US in the final and US winning like 2-0 like for the
Mhm.
past 4 games.
That's because Mexico won't step up.
Yeah,
It's Mexico.
no, it's just I think like it's just you cannot now. I think like it's a train, the train to cover it. You cannot. You're not gonna catch up. You're not gonna catch up to the U.S. Like you're not going to.
Damn. And then you might lose some of your best players to the U.S. too, and they just change their nationality just to yeah. That's sad. But I think there will be another good Mexican teams. It's just you're in a bad cycle right now. You're not your last great class, that World Cup when you beat Mexico. I mean, you beat Germany, the World Cup champs, and just it's a wrap.
Well, that was like a little fluke because they beat Germany, but nothing happened out of it. They just like they beat
You got out of the
Germany.
group, right?
Yeah, we got out of the group, but it was just somewhat like barely kind of like last. It was like what is the guy the Son scored a goal against Germany in the last minute that Mexico qualified because otherwise they would not qualify.
Oh,
It was like a last minute kind of like that chance that Son did not score against Man City, he scored against Germany and had
oh
Mexico
yeah.
advance. Yeah.
that's that's so funny that you won't forget that miss. It wasn't a miss of one of your players against another team. It was a Spurs miss against
You don't understand how
Man
how
City
traumatized we are from
against,
from Son. Son
against
has scored on Man
Arsenal.
City like 40 goals. Like every time Son just hates Man City, and that day he's like, all right, guys, I'm not gonna score on you guys today.
You still won, bro. You still won the title, man. Calm down. You got this. Well, guys, thanks for joining. Did we miss anything? We covered racism. We in the British media, be better, stop being insecure, and
Other than
and
we didn't
hate.
cover Team USA being in shambles.
Yeah. What's
But
what's your? Go ahead. Let's do that right quick.
I mean, just clearly the manager hasn't really got the support of the players. I don't think. Digging them out after the game as well. 5-1 loss. James Rodriguez rolling back the years with a world-class goal as well. But yeah, 5-1 even in a friendly is not a good look.
Yeah. Is that Colombian team 5-1 good, or was it the U.S. team messing up?
US team
Yes.
just they I think like they all underperform, and it's just
Mm.
Colombia had a really good game, but I don't think like Colombia. I I think like US is gonna pass. They're both gonna advance. US is gonna advance the group and probably play. I don't know. We can dive deep more next week if we cover the Copa
All right.
America. But yeah, I think
We
like
will.
US will be fine.
All right. I
Also, the
mean, I don't
tournament's
think they're going to
rigged
be.
for the US to advance. And Mexico too.
It's rigged for Mexico to advance too.
For both teams to to move.
That's hilarious. I love that. I love your honesty. Love it. That's hilarious. All right, guys. Thank you. Lee, straight out of Barcelona, joining, doing shows out there. Go check out his Instagram. Lee Hudson Comedy. He's got a foodie post on there. Check it out. What's yours, Alex?
My which one?
Your Instagram or however you want to
Oh,
be known or seen.
find me alexps.comedy. Uh, and we just got a venue in Palm Springs to do shows twice, 3 times a month. Already trying to talk to Ian Edwards' agent to work out a deal.
To play soccer, my soccer
Yeah,
agent or
it's both.
my talent agent. They're two different people. That's the same guy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's the same guy. And both of them are not getting me any gigs. So I haven't. San Diego FC has not approached me about a trial or nothing. I'm like, whoa, who y'all rolling with out there? And we didn't talk about. Oh, since you're here, how do you feel about Man City trying to become the most hated team in European football and surpassing Barcelona? Like, what? Be honest. You've been honest this podcast, fam.
hey,
Like,
like I think like City is somewhat doing what a lot of teams been wanting to do. Like I don't understand how why is Aston Villa has to sell players? They just made top 4, and now you're forcing Aston Villa to sell players. It's like, oh, you have to sell players. Newcastle has to sell
No, but
players.
Aston
Lee,
Villa
respond to that,
maybe
please.
Aston Villa maybe got top 4 because they spent a bunch of money on players. And it's like, oh, now if you spend all that money, you got what you want out of it, but now you got to pay the piper. It's if it otherwise, there could be teams who may have made top 4 if they would spend that money, but they didn't because they want to comply with the rules. So yeah,
I do think you guys are gonna
I
be.
understand.
I feel you guys are gonna be shocked when City wins it, and the Premier League's like, oh,
If
you're.
Alex, if City wins, the Premier League is over. It's a fair competition now. Well, kind of not because City is cheating, and and they won't. It's there's a delay on the proof of it. Listen, man, you guys can do well without cheating. It's you guys. If you don't cheat, you could still win a title every 2 years, which is fine. But to cheat to win it, and then it'll make the league like look at the Bundesliga. Who cares about the Bundesliga? Nobody cared about the Bundesliga until by Leverkusen. You don't want to Bayern this league. You don't. It's just it's not attractive. It's not attractive. Like having fair competition and not knowing and the things going down to the wire is what's Leicester being able to win it.
Well,
You
things
want
did
that
go to the
shit.
wire this season and last season. Like it's been going to the wire, and right. I don't think just
Despite
make
But the
this.
way that this lawsuit, if you guys win it, there is no wire. There is no going to the wire because then you guys can flood the club with money from your other businesses that are related to the club and say, we just paid, got this sponsorship or this deal for this billion for somebody to have a player to wear a tattoo of this sponsor. You don't want that. You want the league to be, you know what I mean?
What I will say though is like, you see the comments every time we have Alex on. City can't get any more hated, so I guess they're like, fuck it, we'll we'll do this anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. You just don't want to be the most hated club. But to be fair, you're a legit City fan, so I'll always defend you on that.
I do see I did see that you defended me like I didn't even know like I checked and there was like a blue mark tweeted and I was like, all right, let's see what Ian's gonna say. Is Ian gonna like defend his boy or gonna go after the blue mark guy? And I was, oh wow, he got my back. So
but those guys, they're they're a legit. You ever heard of Majid Jordan?
no, yeah, no, that's what I was like. Okay, I
Hmm.
feel like Ian got my back against
Yeah,
you know, that's
I've hung
tight.
out with them at parties and I've been to their concerts. Like I just went to a dope ass concert of theirs, and they're from Canada too, and they're like a legit group. And then their new album is slaps, and they're dope, and they're actually Man United fans, so that's why they came at you because they're United
Saw
fans. So
that.
when they see City, they're gonna attack you. You know, so I attack you on this too. So it's just is what it is. But
Hey,
I'll give you your
I'll take
props for
it.
being a legit City fan. It's all banter, baby. But Lee enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too, but I was like, I gotta defend him a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I wish my club was relevant enough for people to hate it.
Yeah, that's what you know. Yeah, but City's dead wrong on this one. You can't.
Yeah.
Because the way it is now, you can, if you don't sue, if you take the L in court, they could take 50 points from you and you guys would still survive. You know what I mean? They could take 50 points off you for one season. You guys would still get 40 plus or whatever and stay in the league. But the way you're going at it's just, and then people will be like, what fucking heroes? There's always a way to turn the shit around. But the way you're attacking the entire Premier League, the British football, and being like a state owned team from another country that's wild. That's flagrant. It's flagrant. But all right, good luck. Good luck. Glad we checked in on that. All right. So thanks for joining, Lee. Good looking out, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Let's have some fun with these Euros. Let's have some fun with Copa America. It's just when you thought football was over for the summer, that shit just started. It's gonna be a heck of a time. All right, y'all. Be good to each other this week. One.